Good morning. It is Sunday, November 7th. Got a kitty in my lap. Can you hear him purring? Another glorious day in the 70s in November. It's so nice. I'm going to go down to Findlay Market today and have a hot drink with some friends from work. They're some of the tenants that I rent to. Been feeling really grateful for my neighborhood lately. Went out for drinks with my Coons team. This place called Queen City Radio, kind of near Washington Park. It was nice out, so we could have drinks that were outside. These little lights hanging up. And I decided to take myself out to dinner afterwards and went to this lovely Puerto Rican inspired restaurant my friend owns called Maze. And just sat there and talked to the people that work there. The TV had the election results going on. Try to ignore that. It was right there in front of my face. Sorry, I got cat hair in my nose, I think. They had this like bourbon mezcal drink with an ice cube made of coconut water. As it melted, it got sweeter. I like when a drink has an ice cube that's flavorful, so it just becomes more interesting as it melts versus watered down. I don't drink very often, maybe one a week or every couple weeks. So I usually like it to be something tasty and interesting. And then I had delicious food there, and then I just remember just walking through downtown OTR and just enjoying the energy of everyone. I had my purple hat on, which has become a power piece for me. Just felt good in my skin. Felt love from my neighborhood and the people around me. I do really like living here. And I feel safe for the most part walking around on my own, which I wasn't sure if I would. The way I describe this neighborhood to people often is, if you're familiar with Chicago, is if you took like Wicker Park and just like set it on top of the south side of Chicago and just said, everyone fend for yourself. I love that there's actual diversity here of race, of perspective, certainly political affiliation. Oh, the press announced that Biden won the presidency. And I know there's some legal kind of conversations going on about voter fraud, or I don't know, there always seems to be something every election. But it looks like this is what's going to happen going forward. And if I'm honest, there's a sigh of relief that it's over, and that it's pretty neat that there's a woman that's vice president. Good morning. A woman of color at that. I mean, that's the highest station a woman's ever held in the United States. I cried. There's a saying going all over social media. It's like, ladies, make sure you wear shoes. There's glass everywhere. And speaking of social media, I've begun today a challenge of staying completely off of Facebook and Instagram until 2021. Yeah, I think will help me focus. Oh, excuse me. Focus on my business. Spend less time being impressed, more time being involved. So cute. Morty, you're so cute. Can't help it. Must immortalize him. He just turned 11. I got him when he was 1, so I never really knew him as a kitten. I was thinking, after I recorded my video, my journal entry yesterday about needs, and how so often it's about control. So what I talked about was being, centered and feeling responsible for asking for your needs to be met versus feeling disempowered about it and feeling either like a victim or like a burden on others or entitled to having your needs met. I was thinking both of those approaches, those latter two, feeling like a burden or being entitled, hinge on this core belief of I am small, I am disempowered, on the one hand. And in a way, it also hinges on the idea that other people are small too. For instance, if I'm feeling like I'm going to burden you, it's me thinking that you don't have the agency to say no if I ask you something. Or that you wouldn't be willing to meet a request from me because you're overburdened. Sorry, hey buddy. I'm gonna move him because he's headed toward a candle. I wouldn't be the first time I've seen him catch himself on fire on that candle. So, it's interesting to think about. Like, what if instead of viewing people as small or unable or someone to be controlled, to have or manipulated, I say that with like a joking face, but that's ultimately what we're all learning how to do, is manage other people's perceptions of us and what we're asking of them. What if we just viewed everyone, including ourselves, as big and capable? Then what fucking big truths would we unearth to each other? What bold requests would we make? For the most part, for a long time, I very much subscribed in a lot of ways to what was politically correct. because I'm sensitive, and I'm sensitive to other human beings and the oppression and pain that they've gone through that might not be obvious and apparent to me. So I'm sensitive to that. And I also see some of the danger in inhibiting people's self-expression, in not allowing room for discussion. Why people might have a hard time using a pronoun like they for someone, or to honor a different gender assignment for someone. That's one of the most delicate ones I can think of. And I think language is powerful, and I think, you know, it's really revolutionary to be able to change it over time. You know, like, this is something small, maybe sounds silly, like a stewardess or waitress versus flight attendant or server. Taking the gender out. Although it comes from our like romantic language stems, like if you look at French or Spanish or Italian, there's masculine or feminine assignment to everything. Even objects like a chair or a table. And this candle went out and I am mesmerized by the smoke. I don't know if you can see it. It just looks really cool. There's no way the camera will ever do it justice. That's the trouble with these tiny rectangles. So I'm not trying to lay like a firm stance out here, like we should all be able to say whatever we want, whenever we want, and not fear what other people think. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that we try to degender everything, or we, again, pussyfoot around other people, because that just has them feel small. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think it's being as open and honest and as aware as we can, and when we learn something that it goes back to me balancing these two fundamental yamas, or principles in yogic philosophy of nonviolence, or ahimsa, and truthfulness, or I believe that's satya. Yeah. I've talked about this book before, but it outlines each of these. Those are the first two, and in a big way, very foundational, these yoga's ethical practices. So balancing nonviolence, or doing no harm, with satya. I'm gonna make sure I get that right. Is it satya? Yeah. Or truthfulness can be a balance. And I think kindness or ahimsa, non-violence, doing no harm, is really important. And when we hide our truth, satya, that can also do harm. So I think there's a way in delivering, being kind yet fierce, our perspective, rather than going along with the status quo when it's something we feel stifles our expression. It's an interesting balance, especially in these times. And I'll go back again to the empowering place to stand of viewing everybody as big. Everybody is big, and man, that's an empowering place to stand, because you don't feel like you need to manage everyone else. And also the perspective, whether or not it's true or not, that I've liked to try on sometimes for myself, is that everyone just loves me. And I've tried that on because there have been periods of my life where I was just convinced that everyone was against me. And what a small, scared, isolated, suppressed experience that was. And so if I can just assume at a fundamental level everyone loves me, just sometimes their stuff gets in the way of showing that, and then it allows me to embrace my love toward them, and it allows me to move about life with more ease and less analysis and management. So, and that's what's on my mind today. Walking into the day, looking at everyone as big. Everyone is big. They are beyond capable of doing anything that you could ever set in front of them. And they are human too, just like me. They're somebody's parent, somebody's child, somebody's hero. And whether they know it or not, they love me, and I love them. That's it. That's all. Happy Sunday. I love you. Bye-bye.